Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm laying out in a pile of wood chips here because I wanted to share some free fuel sources for winter, whether it's compost or whether you're actually burning it. So we do both, and we do both with wood chips. So we experimented all last winter trying to burn wood chips, and we were finding that we really had to dry them out. Starting to rain a little bit here. I have the camera underneath this tree, so hopefully we are good with this cover. So the rain really started picking up here, so I had to throw the camera way up under this tree. And I really wanted to break down the BTU potential of these dry wood chips. So we've got all the dry wood chips versus wet wood chips, and drying them is going to be your best bet because you're going to hold a lot more and you don't have to use the BTUs to dry the wood as it burns. So a dry ton of wood chips is going to hold about 11,500,000 BTUs. 11.5 million BTUs over this winter is a lot. But having dry wood chips is absolutely key and pertinent because the same value of wood chips, 1 ton or about 4 cubic yards of wood chips that are fresh, are definitely going to weigh more and be less because they have more moisture, obviously, but they have more moisture leading to more BTU consumption to dry those wood chips as they're burned. So in summary, the wet wood chips are going to hold 8 million BTUs compared to the 11.5 million when they're dry. So I also have another great free resource for burning this winter. So we pick up all these pallets. Got them over here, that stack of pallets back there. So we take all the junk pallets. We like to save the good ones and use them for things because we can build and use those boards for all types of stuff, good hardwood pallets. So the broken ones are the ones we're going to take apart, cut up, and burn. Burning hardwood pallets, relating that to BTUs, you're going to say there's almost roughly 7,000 BTUs per pound of wood burned. So on a rough average, your pallets are going to weigh about 33 to about 48 pounds. So at about 33 pounds, you're pushing about 231,000 BTUs. So that's not too bad for one little pallet. Burning a hardwood 48-pound pallet, you're going to be able to create about 336,000 BTUs. So those two main sources of free wood to burn, everybody can get a hold of wood chips. A lot of people give away their pallets for free. You can go pick them up if you got a truck. Sometimes you can get them dropped off. There's a lot of free sources of burnable material that isn't waste oil. I really thought about putting a waste oil burner setting on here. I was just going to weld up a plate with a little drip to a small oil tank for waste oil to be burned, but I really just don't want to burn oil. I mean, if you guys think it's a good idea, I might do it as an experiment to see, because oil really puts out a lot of BTUs, but I really don't even care to burn that. So I'm just going to stick with wood and organic stuff because that doesn't really do it for me. I'm going to try and keep my carbon footprint as small as possible. So last winter, we spent a lot of time and valuable energy trying to dry our wood chips. So I used a few of these free buckets I acquired with holes in the bottom. They're metal. So I was able to set them up on our clay and blow fans over them, and we really dried a lot of wood chips out. And I used some of our crates for plants and stuff to keep as many wood chips in the greenhouse and drying as possible, keeping them as close to our stove as possible. So I really noticed a huge difference trying to burn damp wood chips as opposed to dry wood chips. So I would suggest that if you can, dry your wood chips. So I want to hear everybody's suggestions. This is another main part of this video. I want everybody to suggest a way. I might build a small polytunnel, maybe a 4-foot polytunnel that I can just roll up in the winter time to keep my wood chips dry outside. And that's just as simple as it gets. Laying pallets down, laying some fencing or mesh cloth down, and then kind of layering wood chips up and just keeping them covered out of the elements. So that's a very simple way. I didn't know how I wanted to go about doing it. So if anybody has any suggestions before I actually build something outside for drying wood chips specifically. So I really wanted to come in here and talk about all of the things that we did. We had a lot of copper. We've got this little fan. We've got a fan up behind our clay bricks there, and we're blowing that heat through the clay bricks, and it really picked up a lot of heat. We were pushing 100 degrees through those bricks and really heating up the entire greenhouse last winter. So all of those BTUs that we're acquiring from free wood chips, we are really doubling down, tripling down, and building upon the heat storage. Now this 1950 to 60 Birmingham & Banner BSNR stove, it was called the Cowboy stove, I believe one of my subscribers had said, because it was able to be packed up and taken down and carried, and the cowboys would just throw it on their horse and take it with them. So it's very neat to have history like that. and it's very neat to be able to use it and keep it in the greenhouse even more. So this originally was designed to hold coal and be a coal burning stove. So using the wood chips, the design of it is like a funnel. It's like a pot belly funnel. This is the mid size. There was 3 or 4 sizes. This is the one before the biggest. The big boy is what they call it. So we've been really experimenting with that. So I guess another piggyback source of fuel I was going to mention is some like lump charcoal. We can take all of our pallets and kind of burn it up outside in a huge fire and then just go by and douse. Or we throw some dirt, sand, a whole bunch of green material, just something to douse the fire, basically making your own biochar. So we'll take a whole bunch of this. I mean, you can buy it at the store, but that crap is expensive. I wouldn't want to buy bag after bag. Everything we do is as cheaply as possible. So we're trying to piggyback all these resources, and I have a whole lot of cool heating experiments coming for this specific system here, along with our Jean Pin compost heating. But I'm gonna get out of the greenhouse. I just saw a lightning flash over there and we're in a metal structure, so I'm gonna head out. So thank you guys for watching, and I'm gonna get out of here as quickly as possible.